Do you like mysteries? To wander through the enigmatic mist of the inexplicable? Great. I'm Merc, and here you'll find what you're looking for. Welcome to my domains. The truth dissolves into the mist.
In the deepest regions of Siberia, where the forests stretch endlessly beneath frozen skies and the wind carves its way through trees older than recorded memory, something has begun to appear. Not ruins, not shelters, not abandoned structures, but doors. Metal doors, heavy, industrial, sealed doors, standing alone in the middle of absolute wilderness. No walls, no buildings, no roads, only snow, silence, and steel. Hunters, geologists, and satellite operators have all reported the same impossible image. A door, upright, embedded into the frozen ground, as if it were the entrance to something that no longer exists, or perhaps something that should not exist at all. The first documented sighting occurred in a restricted zone of eastern Siberia, captured accidentally during a geological survey. The photograph showed a rusted steel door, reinforced with external locking mechanisms, surrounded by untouched snow, kilometers away from the nearest human settlement. There were no construction records, no mining permits, no military installations, no historical maps showing any structure in that region. Yet the door was real, and it was not the last. Over the following years, similar doors were reported across vast distances, some separated by hundreds of kilometers, all sharing the same characteristics: industrial design, reinforced frames, sealed hinges, warning markings in multiple languages, many of them partially eroded, but still visible. Some bore faded symbols that resembled radiation warnings. Others carried numerical codes that did not correspond to any known facility registry, and every single one of them was closed, always closed, never open. No one has ever officially documented what lies behind these doors. Those who approached them reported a disturbing sensation, a pressure in the chest, a ringing in the ears, an unnatural silence, as if the forest itself had withdrawn its sound. Electronic devices often malfunctioned near them. Compasses lost direction. GPS signals drifted. Cameras shut down without explanation. One survey team described a low vibration coming from the metal, not loud, not audible, but felt through the bones, like the distant hum of a massive machine buried deep beneath the earth. When attempts were made to open one of these structures, the locking mechanisms resisted with unnatural strength, not rusted, not corroded, but preserved, as if maintained, as if something on the other side required that these doors remain sealed. Local indigenous communities have long spoken of forbidden passages hidden in the land. They describe places where the ground is thin, where the world below listens, where something ancient was buried, not to be imprisoned, but to be isolated. According to their oral traditions, these are not doors built by humans. They are closures, seals placed over wounds in the earth. The elders warn that opening them invites not discovery, but release. In several regions, the appearance of these doors has coincided with unexplained environmental anomalies, sudden temperature drops, unnatural fog formations, magnetic disturbances, and, in some cases, the complete disappearance of small animal populations in the surrounding area. Trappers have reported zones of silence where birds no longer sing and tracks vanish abruptly in the snow, as if life itself avoids the vicinity. Satellite imagery has revealed something even more disturbing. Beneath many of these locations, deep underground cavities exist. Not natural caves, not typical mining tunnels, but vast, structured voids, arranged in geometric patterns, extending far beyond what conventional excavation technology could reasonably achieve. Some analysts suggest abandoned Soviet-era military facilities. Others propose secret nuclear containment sites. But the scale does not match. The depth does not match. And the number of these structures exceeds anything documented in declassified archives. There are no budgets, no personnel logs, no maintenance records, no disposal histories, which leads to a question that no official source is willing to answer. Who built these doors? And what are they keeping inside? Because the most unsettling detail is this. Several of the doors show signs of recent interaction, fresh scratches, new weld marks, modern locking components, not relics of the Cold War, but signs of ongoing containment. And if these structures are still being maintained, then the danger they guard against has not passed. It is still present, it is still active, and it is still considered severe enough to justify isolation beneath kilometers of frozen earth. Siberia is vast, its secrets are deep, and some of them were never meant to be uncovered, not because they are lost, but because they were buried on purpose. In several leaked reports, engineers who were allegedly contracted to work near these locations described instructions that were highly unusual. They were forbidden from mapping the underground structures in full. They were required to seal access points without documentation. And most disturbingly, they were ordered to forget. One document, later removed from public servers, referred to the sites only as containment nodes. No explanation, no classification, only a directive: maintain integrity at all costs. A former military technician, whose identity remains undisclosed, claimed that one of these doors was connected to a shaft descending far deeper than any known bunker. The walls, according to his testimony, were not reinforced with concrete, but with an unknown composite material, resistant to radiation, pressure, and temperature beyond standard engineering limits. He stated that instruments detected anomalous energy fluctuations, not consistent with nuclear reactions, not chemical, and not biological. Something else, something that did not behave according to known physical models. In another case, a seismic monitoring station registered low-frequency pulses originating from beneath one of the door sites. The signal repeated at irregular intervals, like a heartbeat, not mechanical, not natural, and not random. Attempts to investigate these pulses were terminated abruptly. Funding was cut. Access permissions revoked, data archives sealed. Official explanations cited equipment malfunction. Yet independent analysts later confirmed that the signal patterns were coherent, deliberate, and persistent. There is also the issue of disappearance. At least 3 expeditions attempting to reach remote door locations failed to return. No distress calls, no debris, no traces. Only abandoned campsites, equipment intact, and tracks that led directly to the sealed structures and then simply stopped. Local authorities closed the cases quietly. Weather incidents were blamed. But satellite weather records showed stable conditions during the time frames in question. Nothing that would justify complete loss. What remains is a pattern. Doors that appear where nothing should be. Doors that are actively maintained. Doors that stand above structures no one admits to building. And doors that people do not return from. Some researchers have proposed a disturbing hypothesis that these are not entrances. They are exits. That whatever lies beneath is not something being kept out, but something being kept in, and possibly something that once moved freely across the surface. The Siberian wilderness, in this interpretation, is not merely empty land. It is a containment zone, a buffer, a silent perimeter around something that cannot be destroyed, only isolated. And if that is true, then the most terrifying possibility is not what these doors hide. It is why they were necessary in the first place. Because civilizations do not construct such systems without reason. They do not bury and seal on this scale unless the alternative is unthinkable. The doors remain, the silence remains, and the earth, in these regions, continues to hum, whether as a warning or as a signal. What is certain is this: some thresholds were never meant to be crossed, and some knowledge was never meant to be recovered. Siberia has many entrances, but only a few that truly matter, and those, for now, remain closed.
Did you like this mystery? And what is your theory? Leave your thoughts in the comments. And if you enjoyed it, then like and share. I'm Merc, and I'll be waiting for you in the next mystery.